So my name is Pam MacArthur. I am a hairstylist of 34 years. I'm a wig master and wardrobe mistress on musical production. And obviously I teach hairdressing. I taught for Algonquin for 5 years. And I now teach here. I think we're going on year 12. It's fine. And I also work at a beauty supply store now. After COVID came and knocked us all out, afterwards I work in a beauty supply store. Some of the things that we use to practice on the hair, we use conditioner with shaving cream. And the reason why we do that is because we need the creamy consistency, and we're not going to use actual color on the mannequin heads. And also there's a couple different applications here. So I've got the tint bowl with the brush, which is what's most commonly used these days. But I also have the bottle with the applicator top, and I'm going to use both, okay? These are new to the market. These are a highlighting comb where you don't have to weave the hair, and I'll show you that in later when I do the foils. But I thought it would be interesting to see because this is a brand new product for me, but I thought I would show you guys. Then we have a tail comb for the foils as well. Plus we have our clips in order to put the hair in their 4 sections. So when I go to do the foils, I'm going to, there's 2 different kinds here. There's one that comes off the roll, which is good because then you can choose the exact length that you would like. But I don't do that anymore because I travel to clients' houses and I find it very cumbersome. And they end up falling out and getting dented, which is really hard to fix. So what I do is I purchase this product here. It's by Framark. And they come in, this is the longest length that you can get for a foil by this company, but they also come in smaller sizes too. And they're pre-cut, so it's easier to use. So that's what we're going to be showing you today. So how we start by doing any color, actually doing hair cutting, coloring, highlighting, any of those different chemical services that we do on our customers, we have to do 4 sections. It's extremely important to make sure that they're even in the front to the back, because especially when you're doing your foil highlights or anything like that, you need to make sure your spacing is even front to back so that when you put the foils in, or even the color, whatever, that it goes on evenly. So how we start is you would take, you need to look down and see the client's nose in the center. And then you need to start and use the tail end of your comb, and you would put it on the head, make sure that you've got a straight line, and then you pull it down through the back, having the comb resting on the hair the entire time, and then you section it in half. So what I do at this point is I will take the hair and I will pull it out like this to see whether it's even. If you want to come around and have a look, and I'm going to show you that it's not. If you look at the very bottom of the head, you can see that you can see that it is not even. So you can see what's happened here is I've got a kind of a ring that's come around here. So what I'm going to do from now is I can see that I need to be about here in the back. So I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to resection and bring it down. And then have another look. And now you can see the difference there. Okay, so now you can see that it's even on both sides here. And then you're going to take the hair and comb it down so it's grasped in your hand. Okay, so you have control over what's happening here. And you don't want to pull any of this hair into here. You want to make sure that it is kept separate. Some people, you could take your clip and clip this off if that makes you more comfortable. But if not, you don't have to. So then you're going to take your mannequin head. I'm just going to turn her around so I have the side view. Find the hole. Put that out. There we go. Okay. And then I've got this whole section here. Okay. So I've got the whole side of her head. And the idea is is that you want to go from the top, not down here. You want to go from the top just above the crown. And you're going to go there, you're going to do the same action, and you're going to take this and you're going to make a section going slightly behind the ear. Okay, so you can see that line there. So now I've got 4 sections back here. So I'm going to pin it off. Okay, I'm going to take this section, comb it, pin it off. Get in there. Okay, and then I'm going to come around to the other side and I'm going to do the same thing. So when you're getting evaluated on your 4 sections, which you will get every time you go to do a chemical service, before you're allowed to start doing it in this program, you need your 4 sections need to be checked. So this is very important, something to learn and to practice, practice, practice. So then you're going to come to the top of the head. You're going to go where you started on the other side. Okay, and you're going to bring it down. And I'm just going to even this out here. And same thing, you're going to have it slightly behind the ear. So basically what you're doing is you're looking at an X across the top of the head. It needs to be even because that's the only way that you're going to be able to have control of your applications. So as I pull this one off, hair is slippery. Okay, on the top, you should be able to see a good X that's coming in through there. Okay, now, once you do that, you can see where you're going to be starting. Actually, I'm just going to switch this a little bit. Where you're going to be starting for your sectioning. So now what I'm doing, I'm just making sure that it's even here. The first application that we're going to do is we're going to do a tint application. I have 4 sections of hair. Now, so I'm going to give you 4 different methods of application, meaning I'm going to do tint application on this side with a bowl and a brush. I'm going to do a tint application on this side with the bottle and the applicator lid. And then I'm going to do foils on each side here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shaving cream in first because you want to slowly add your conditioner to the shaving cream because the conditioner will dilute it. So you don't want to add your conditioner and then have to add so much shaving cream, which is a waste of product. So I'm going to put some in the bowl. Okay, and then I'm going to take the conditioner and then there's no measuring going on, it's just all with feel, and then I'm going to mix it together and see that I'm going to get the right consistency. Okay, so what's happening right now is it's a little dry. Okay, I can tell that you can see how it's didn't come off the brush very well. So I'm going to add some more conditioner. Just a little bit more. Sorry. At least it smells really good. Yeah, that's better. You can see how it's becoming more creamy now instead of like full of air. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a root touch-up on this back section of the hair. Okay, so I'm going to take out this clip. I'm going to take a little bit of product. Make sure you're not oversaturating your brush because you'll get it everywhere. You can take a little bit of product on your on your brush. And you're gonna start, and if you were doing the whole head of a retouch root application, you would start by doing your X, always. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because I'm doing a couple of different applications here, I'm just gonna start on this side. So I'm just gonna go up slightly off the root, making sure that you're putting enough on the hair that it's getting to the scalp. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to come around this side here, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, if you have too much product on your brush, then what will happen is the flyaway hairs will get saturated, and you don't want that. You want to make sure you're keeping it at your root. What happens is, if you do not do that, and you're doing a blonde like myself, for example, if you go past that root line, then what'll happen is what's called banding. And what that means is that where the old color or the grown out color is and where the new color is, a band forms on the hair. So if you have long hair, it will show if you're blow drying it out. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're just doing the root, because all colors expand. So you don't want to oversaturate the hair and put it down. Okay, so we always start at the top when we're doing a tint application. So you start here, you take a section, you put the hair up like this, apply that way, and you apply this way, top to bottom. Okay, this way and that way. You go right from the edge of one side, you bring it to the next side. You want to make sure that you're still going to see some of that product there. You can see that where it's already have some. And you're going to make sure it's covered on this side. And then you're going to make sure that it's covered on this side. And the reason why we do that, we don't take too big of sections, because, for example, if I took a section down here and pulled it up, you wouldn't see any of the product here. And if I went to go apply it here, I could miss spots in between. So we always take small sections, saturate top to bottom. Next section. Top to bottom. And one of the reasons why we always start in the back when we're doing tint applications is because the crown of the hair is where you're going to find the natural tone of the hair. And it's, generally speaking, the darkest part of the hair. So you want to make sure that you're going to apply it there first before you continue on with the rest of the head. Because if not, and say, for example, you applied to the front first and you were doing a blonde and you needed the hair to lift, it would not, you wouldn't have the same color all over, because this will be darker. So you want to apply to the parts of the hair that are the darkest first. And you continue on. Now, one of the other things that we don't want to see, I don't want to see you taking this hair here and putting your hand on it so that the other product comes through. It should be loose. If you're looking through the side, I shouldn't see any product coming out through there. You don't want to push it up too hard, so you're going to get spotting through the hair. Also, make sure that you turn or push your mannequin head where you need it. There is no need to be applying a color when it's like this. You need to have a good visual of where your sections are at all times. Okay, make it easier on yourself, easier for the client, and you're going to get a better result in the end. And because my formula is pink, you can actually see really, really well where the application is on the hair and on the scalp. when your teacher goes to evaluate your color application, she's going to be looking to make sure that you have good saturation on the scalp. If there are spots where the product should be on the scalp and it's not there, that will make points will come off for that. So you need to make sure that you put enough on that we can see it on the scalp. And another note is, if you ever are doing an actual color on a customer, always wear gloves, okay? Because the chemicals can be very hazardous for your hands. And the other thing is you want to make sure that if you are doing a color on a live person, that you do a strand test or a skin test, because you want to make sure that they're not allergic to the product. Okay, so I just wanted to show, I completed this section here, but I wanted you to see the different sections that I took all the way down. You should be able to see that. And the reason why we want to see that is because the air needs to get at, even though we put a plastic on it, if it's laying on each other too much, it's going to make what we call the color bleed. So you need to make sure that you see these sections in between each of your application sections. So now I'm just going to do the same mixture that I did in the bowl in the bottle. I won't show you that because it's the same form, but I'll show you how to apply with a bottle. Normally, when you're doing with a bottle application, your hands can get a lot more full of product. I don't have gloves with me today, and it's not color. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this section out. Same idea. I'm still going to do the perimeter, okay? But this time, you're going to use your thumb. Okay, so what I do is I got some there, start at the bottom, mark your way up like you're icing a cake, and then you use your thumb just to pull it down the hair, okay? That's why you would be wearing gloves, because you'd be full of color if not. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here. This way of applying is not done as often anymore, but I do it. I have customers that I do, I use Schwarzkopf, and I have customers that I do demi-permanents on where it has to be applied by this. It's just not thick enough of a product to put on with a brush, so we have to do it this way. Oops. Okay, client. Also, if you're applying on a live person, you want to make sure that you are not getting the color all over them, because a lot of people will stain. So we want to make sure that we're keeping that away. So the same thing goes, you're going to start at the top, okay? And you're going to take the tip of the bottle and you're going to do your section. Pull it up. Okay, you're going to bring it over, you're going to apply it at the root, and then you're just going to bring it up with your thumb. Okay? And bring it up with your thumb. Next section, bring it up. Now you notice with this one, I'm not applying it to the bottom. It's because it'll be too messy on the hair. I'm just applying it to the top portion. That's why my sections are as narrow as they are, because we want to make sure we get good application. And if you can do both of these, it's awesome. You probably won't be tested on this part of it. I'm not sure, Kelly, whether you have bottles or not.
I think we haven't had one or two, but
okay.
I don't think they'll be tested on it.
Okay.
They might want to try it though.
Yeah. Okay, just real easy, real smooth, real like soft pressure, just enough to get it right at the root. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can notice what's happening here. I'm doing the application and I'm having a harder time seeing. So this is where you would take your customer's head and you would push them over. Okay, so you would follow this through all the way to the bottom. I'm not going to continue on. This just gives you another way of the other way of applying, okay? Just give you a couple more options. You ready? Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you, first of all, what I'm going to show you is, these are already, like I said, pre-cut, which I'm going to be using today. But this one here, it's got a serrated edge to it, and you would pull this down and to cut yourself a foil, okay? I'm not going to waste those. I'll use these ones that I've got here. So there's many different ways to do placement of foils. So what I'm going to show you today is the basic way to do a foil, so that you have an idea of the weaving and that sort of thing. On this section, I'm going to do fine foils, and then on this section, I'm going to do chunkier foils, okay? So you're going to take down your section, okay? Comb it down. You're going to go, you might want to come on this side. You're going to go across here, a nice straight line, okay, from at the ear. Make sure your line's good and straight. And you're going to pin this piece back up because you want that hair away so it's not in, and see how it's nice and stiff and away here. And so that's your section. And now you're going to do what we call a subsection. So you're going to take that narrow. You see how narrow that is? And you see what I'm doing here? I'm holding my hand, my finger to the edge here, and I'm going to pull it across, and then I'm going to pull that section down, or out, excuse me. Because you need to have control over it. I find a lot of times when I'm teaching the students, they take a big, huge section. Now, if I did that and I wanted to do, say, a foil, I'll show you the technique in a second. When I went to go put the foil at the root, the foil would not make it to the root. It would be too far away. You see the gap that's going on here? We don't want that, okay? So we need to make sure that it is very close to the second, or to your initial section, okay? And you're gonna hold it tightly between these two fingers, and you're gonna weave in and out, and in and out. So now you've got the hair separated here, and you're gonna take the hair and you're gonna separate it that way. You're gonna take your foil, you're going to fold the edge over. And the reason why we do that is because we need this part of the foil to be stiff. This is too loose. So you need to double it over. You're going to hold the hair up. You're going to take the foil and you're going to put it, and you see how my hand is resting against the head? If I wasn't doing that, the foil would immediately start to fall down. So now I'm going to take my product and I'm going to start applying. Now we're going to do it like she's getting foils on virgin hair, meaning it needs foils all the way down. So I'm going to take it here and then I'm going to hold. I use my comb to press against the customer's head and then I start applying down. Okay, so we want to make sure we get good saturation. I'm going to let go. Very gently take your hand and place the foil in your hand and continue to apply to the bottom. Okay, so you're making sure you're getting good saturation. Okay. Now from here, you're going to fold the hair in half, or the foil in half. Bring it up to the top, fold it again. Okay, so double fold. Then you're going to take the edge, or you can take the edge of the bottom, whatever's more comfortable. And you're going to fold it over here, right where the hair starts and right where the hair finishes. So you have a nice little package. And then we're going to take our next section. See where my finger is holding here? Okay, I've got my finger against the head. Take my thing across here. I'm using my finger to help separate the hair. Pin the hair up so it's clean. Go another subsection here, pulling it down so you have a nice clean line. Nice fine piece, up and down and up and down. Okay, That section is clean. Take your foil. Now, some hairdressers will do this before they start. They'll go through and fold all the edges over. You don't have to. It's whatever you're comfortable with. See how I'm pulling it right up? It's right up at the root. Holding it against the head. Just bracing it so I can touch at the top. Now, if I let this go right now and I continue to apply it like this, it would immediately start pulling away from the hair. Generally speaking, that happens a lot with the mannequin heads because the hair is long. There's like longer pieces, shorter pieces, and a lot of times that happens. The idea is when we go to test you, the closer this is to the scalp, the better it is, okay? I'm gonna let go. I'm going to take my comb, and I'm not using my comb by pressing it in hard. I'm just using it as a brace. Okay, you're going to bring it right up to the top. I didn't pull on the comb. I just used the comb for a fold. And you're going to do a second fold to bring it right up to the top. Cross like that. What I don't want to see is if, like, say you just fold here and fold it over like that. No. I want to see it right at where the hair is. Right at where the hair is. Nice, clean, straight lines. If you start folding into your section, then what happens is the foil pulls away from those two sides on either side, and that hair that is there with product on it will bleed or spot the hair that's around it. Also, it will not process properly because it's not encased in the foil. So it's very important to practice doing those foils correctly, folding them correctly. Section, subsection. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Holding it tight away from the head, end of your comb, up and down. Separate the hair. Fold your foil. Now, one of the things I also want you to notice is I'm a parallel to your section. I don't want angles like this. I don't want angles like that. I need it parallel to the to your head, okay? Same idea, application. We should not be seeing any color or any of the product on the scalp at this point because the same thing will happen, like I just said before, where it's called bleeding. And I'm not sure whether any of you have had this happen to your own hair, but it is really difficult to fix and it is not very attractive look. Same thing, just resting it against, folding it up, press. Resting it in the middle, folding it up, right where my hair is, right where this section is and this section is where I'm going to fold. So you can see where the clean lines, and when you fold it like this, they're not going to fall out of the hair. I don't want to see little balls of foil. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see clean lines. I'll do one more on this section. I wanted to show you that other comb. I have three of these, three different types. One is really fine. Like really fine. I have not used it yet because most people don't like them that fine. And then I have one that's a little bit wider than this. So the idea of this comb is that when you put it through the hair, part of the hair stays up top and part of the hair goes to the bottom. So you immediately get your section or your weave. And I'll show you that. Same idea. Subsection. Thicker. Okay. Now, this is a little tricky because I just learned how to do it myself. What you do is you pull it through don't know if you can see that weave that's already on top there. You can see how it's separated the hair. And you just pull it across, pull that down, and there's your weave. Now, I've been doing this for 34 years. I bought these just before the second shutdown because I'd never seen them before. I'm really sad about that because I could have used them over the years. Look how beautiful of a weave that is. But anyways, that's another story. So they, it works the same idea. You can see I'm doing exactly the same thing. But you can also see where I did it before, it was a wider weave. So you're going to get more impact of color, okay? When these sections are slightly larger. Having said that, I have done foils with this fine. The difference is that I did them very, very close together. So, and I used multiple different colors of blondes. So you did have high impact of color, but it wasn't stripy. So that's the difference. Okay, so now on this side, I'm going to do the same idea. And all I'm doing is showing you the difference between and I'll just do 2 foils this way. And the difference between the 2 weaves. Doing your subsection. Now this time, I'm going to do it very wide. Okay, and the reason why you might want to do this, or you could do a combination of the 2, is so that you give more impact of color. Somebody that's got extremely thick hair, okay, same idea. See how I pull it up right to the root. Somebody who's got extremely thick hair, if you did fine foils like I was showing you on the other side, they would be hidden in the hair. You wouldn't see them. So, unless you put like 200 in, which is ridiculous. So, on somebody like that, you would put them a little bit thicker like this. Having said that, it doesn't mean that your subsection is thicker. It just means your weave is wider. So, you can see where it's still up at the root. Okay, the subsection is still the same. It's just the amount of weave that's in there. Fold, fold, right at the side, right at the other side. Nice straight lines. And do one more. Pull your hair down. Use your finger on the one side to brace your comb at the end. You see, I'm not making it wide this way. I'm just taking the same subsection, separating, just bigger sections, more impact. Same idea, separate. Hold your foil. Keep always this tight, okay? Always keep it tight. Pull it up right at the root, you can see there. Same application. Holding it against the head, taking my hands the opposite way. Supporting the bottom. Done. Resting it against, so you can fold it in half, up to the top, half again, fold, fold. And that's that. So comparing one side to the other, this side will have a lot more bang for their buck. Whether it be blonde or you're putting blue or you're putting purple or whatever color that you're putting in, this side will have a lot more bang. This side will be a lot more natural.